Good morning, good morning, good morning. You are now tuned in to Talk and Travel with Lo, and I'm your host, Miss Lo B. And I've got a great show for you lined up for today. I hope you're excited because I am. Starting at the top, we've got a great interview that's going to happen with Dr. James Jones with SUT, Simply United Together, a not-for-profit organization that's changing communities nationwide. We're not just talking about one small city and one small area. We're talking about his reach is across the United States and further. And I can't wait to sit down with him and have this conversation and get to know him a little bit better and allow you to get to know him and see what's going on in your backyard so that you'll be able to go out and get involved and, give of yourself. It only takes a little bit of time, a little bit of caring, a little bit of effort, and every little bit counts towards making this world a better place to live. I also have a special announcement. I'm going to be opening up the phone lines today for you. I know that for the past 4 weeks, you've taken the time out and graciously listened to me and gotten to know me and who I am and how I see the world. And now it's going to be my turn. I'm going to open up these lines shortly after the interview with Dr. James because I want to make sure that he's able to, get his time that is due him. I have other announcements that's going to be coming up later on in the show. We're going to look at the beautiful, beautiful country of Cuba. I'm going to be focusing on that today and talking about some of the places to go and things to do out there because I'm actually gearing up to take my first trip to Cuba, which I am so excited about. I'm trying to touch every country that I possibly can before my last day on this planet. And Cuba is at the top of my list. I'm going to try to get that knocked out within the next 24 months, if not sooner. And I'm going to talk to you about, what Cuba has to offer because it has gotten a bad rap in the past years. Everyone thinks that this country is, one thing, but it's really just a beautiful place to be and a beautiful place to go. And, not everything is what you hear, let's just say, or what is portrayed on television. And I'm really just going to touch on that a little bit. But until then, sit back, relax, listen to a couple of tunes, and I will be back shortly.
And we both grew up in time, but everything's still on my mind all the time. Yeah, all the time when I think it over. I remember you said one night you would never leave this town on your own, but now you're gone.
Taking the lead while I fall us out in the backseat. I'm bringing you for it. I'm bringing you for it.
Leaving without saying why. But I wonder if you wonder. 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 Taking the lead while I fall out in the backseat.
Okay, we are back to Talk and Travel with Lo, with me, and I'm your host, Lo B. And I wanted to start the show with making a few announcements because I would really like to make sure that I touch these bases in time for everyone to kind of get the notes, and then I'll repeat it a little bit before we get off the show if we have time. Right now, I'm looking for new artists. Simply United Radio, we are all about the independent artist and promoting the artist. And I'm looking for some clean radio ready music that is unsigned. And I will get your submissions and add it to my rotation. And if you're interested, please forward an MP3 or and a short bio to lofortunate@gmail.com. I'm going to read it out or spell it out to you. Lo, L-O-E, the number 4, the word tune, T-U-N-E, the number 8 at gmail.com. lofortunate@gmail.com. Make sure you add a little bio or write up or something for you, some contact information. And, because what's going to happen is once you're selected to go into the rotation, we're also going to add you to a list so that when there are other events that are live, we can, invite you in to perform your music and get you some exposure. And also, my other radio show co-host or colleagues rather also will be looking at the submissions to add to their rotation. So it's a good opportunity for you to get your music out there and, really get heard and some exposure and, get your name out there. If this is what you truly want to do, we got you. Now, also, I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that Destination Travel Atlanta is hosting a New Year's Eve cruise this year, leaving Port Canaveral, Orlando on December 28th, returning on January 1st, going to Nassau, Bahamas. The deposit date has been extended for those of you who were worried about the deposit date, missing the deposit date. It has been extended to April 15th. So hurry up and get your cabin booked, because once that date was extended, there were a lot of movement and the cabins are going pretty quick. It's only $100 deposit. And then Destination Travel was gracious enough to provide the prices. The interior cabins are starting at $449. The ocean views are $454, and the balcony is $564. So I think that's a pretty good little situation to get into for the New Year's, because you're not worrying about what club you're going to, if you're going to get in. Once it's over, if you're going to come home without being pulled over by the police, because you don't even have to worry about that. You'll be on the high seas enjoying the beautiful cruise ship, the Liberty cruise ship, coming home from Nassau, Bahamas. Now, if any of you have ever done that before, I'm jealous, because I haven't, and I will be on this ship. So, if you haven't, this is a great time to go ahead and get that trip booked. And you can send over your request for your information packet to destinationtravel.loe@gmail.com, or you can contact them at area code 201-406-5298. So go ahead and reach out to Destination Travel and get your New Year's Eve cruise booked, so that you can bring the 2018 in a style like no other. Now we're gonna move forward, and like I said, I wanted to talk to you about the beautiful country of Cuba. Now, we know that Cuba was always known to have a negative outlook, since that whole the Cuban Missile Crisis and blah, 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 all of that goodness, where Cuba, the fair trade was taken away from them. They couldn't trade with us. We couldn't bring in any of their products. If you got caught with a Cuban cigar, it was like serious business, quote unquote. And now that ban has been lifted. So there's a great migration of travel, people going over, finally being able to go freely and visit Cuba and see all that is over there. Because, even in movies, you look at the movies and you only see like the city, the seedy areas, and it's made to look like it's so dangerous and, all of the negative. But I'm here to tell you, Cuba is a beautiful place, And part of my job as a travel consultant is to do a lot of research on different areas and places that, people may want to go. And what I found with Cuba is it offers you so much. You have different areas. You have Havana. Havana is like the old city, older buildings, the originals, and it's a beautiful place, and it's got a lot of culture in it, and when you touch down into Cuba, into Havana, you get a taste of the old world Cuba that has not changed, Cuba that will never change. And then you can go over to Varadero, which is where you'll have the beach resorts and, really